Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, we're doing part 9 of the story about the 3 husbands that joined forces against their wives that were cheating for years on girls' nights. And where things were left off, where the new guy, Sid, was confronting his wife, Debbie, because Debbie was the part-time gal in the little girl group that was up to no good. And he was confronting her and got her phone and found all sorts of evidence on her phone about her. And as you can imagine, we're about to probably hear more of the waterworks, the I'm so sorry, and all the other things from the you-know-what handbook. And see how this thing plays out. Continues, Debbie never stayed late at work or worked on Saturdays. Her late nights and Saturdays were all hookups. She was at a hotel that Saturday with some guys she met at a bar the previous night. Debbie had come home only to shower, change, and show her face before rushing back to the hotel to be with him. Obviously, this is all stuff that she's either confessing or he's getting out of the phone. Some of the guys Debbie was sleeping with were her co-workers. Sid had met some of them at Debbie's work functions. Debbie's co-workers were always friendly. She's a scumbag on so many fronts, but the fact she's hooking up with her male co-workers and he meets them at functions, they're all like, "Hey man, how you doing? I'm banging your wife." Remember how she said you can't ever call it work? Well, there you go. One of the co-workers told Sid they loved working with Debbie. She was always enthusiastically willing to take on anything and put in front of her. Oh, we can have so much fun with that line. The guys around that thought it was funny. Total a-holes. There were also texts from Mr. BJ. His texts include pictures of Debbie in the men's room naked, smiling, standing next to some guy with his arm around Debbie's waist. There were other pictures from Mr. BJ of Debbie performing various SCX acts. Steve told Sid that he saw similar pictures from Mr. BJ on Jesse's phone. Steve warned Sid about Mr. BJ, he's not going away. I asked Sid what Debbie said after she was caught. Sid said most of the time he was looking at her phone. Debbie was just howling. When Sid had enough, he asked her to explain why she cheated and lied to him all those years. Good luck getting an honest, remotely honest answer out of her on that one. Debbie had all kinds of excuses. It meant nothing. She only loves Sid. She'll never cheat again, give back the phone, and she'll text all the men she's been seeing and it's over. She'll block them, she'll quit her job and find another job. All from the Hobag Handbook. She'll do anything Sid wants. There's nothing more important to her than Sid, the kids, and the marriage. Really, sweetheart, you have a funny way of showing that. Sid can see her phone anytime he wants. He'll know where she's at all times. She obviously has psychological problems. She'll find a therapist right after the holidays. They should start couples counseling. Just give her a chance to show how much she loves Sid and the kids. Honey, you've shown me through your actions, or your actions and other dudes, just how much I mattered to you and the kids. Don't throw away our marriage over stuff that really meant nothing. And then there was more wailing from Debbie. I love that. Don't throw away our marriage over this. Our love can withstand all this. Sid told her they were divorcing and Debbie had to leave. Sobbing, Debbie said she's not leaving. She and Sid have to figure out a way to save their marriage. Save what? She loves Sid and knows that Sid loves her too. Well, that's the point. He's been putting her on a pedestal all these years, obviously, and she's banking on. That she can cry and beg and negotiate, and eventually he'll cave. That's what all these girls do. Sid's mad now, but she knows Sid wants to remain married. Saving the marriage would also be best for the kids. Now using the kids. She regrets everything she did. No more lies. Sid knows everything now. There is no way he knows everything. They'll start with a clean slate. If Sid gives back her phone, then she'll end it with the other guys. Or Sid can do that if he wants. Write the text and send them. Sid can tell him anything he wants. Debbie doesn't care about any of them at all. All she cares about is Sid and the kids. Sid said okay, he'll take care of her phone. Any of you single guys out there still want to get married? Sid got up and took Debbie's phone to the garage. Concerned, Debbie followed him out in the garage. He got a hammer and viciously smashed her phone. He handed the smashed phone to Debbie. Debbie stared at her shattered phone, horrified. Still holding the hammer, Sid told Debbie that she has to leave and leave now. So, I think this is funny and all, but now, him holding the hammer and her being scared, you can all see what I'm getting at here, how this can be used against him. That they are now divorcing. She asked Sid if it was okay for her to pack up some stuff before she left. Sid told her to hurry. Debbie ran out of the garage to go pack a bag. She was gone in no time. I asked if he threatened Debbie with a hammer, and he said no. He was holding it. That doesn't matter. Him holding that and being angry, that's all it takes. He did not threaten Debbie at all. He didn't even yell, just told her to leave. Debbie has been calling him and texting from Liv's phone. Debbie wants to talk. Sid has calmed down. Debbie wants to come home. She loves him, blah, blah, blah. And Sid did not respond to her. No, he shouldn't. And I feel bad not just for Sid, but also Sid's kids. I don't know how old they are. Well, now all the gals can bunk up together in the same place. The Hobag Hen House. Sid continued that early the next morning, Sunday, New Year's Eve, Debbie showed up at Sid's door. I mean, like, what part of me telling you to get out don't you understand? Sid saw her outside the door and decided it might be a good idea to start recording their conversations. He got his phone out and started recording. Debbie looked horrible. She hadn't slept. Sid told us that we could listen to the recording we made instead of him telling of the conversation. We could not do that in the gym, so we went to Steve's car to listen. Sid sent me a copy of this recording, so what follows is a good summary of Sid's recording, but it's not word for word. Okay. The recording begins with Sid asking Debbie what she wants. To see the kids and to talk to Sid. Sid said he has nothing to say to her except she should get an attorney. They are divorcing. The kids aren't at home. If she wants to see the kids, she has to make an appointment. She can't just show up like this. Well, I'm guessing technically she can, given that as long as her name is on the deed, or depending on where you live. I mean, the courts may think otherwise. Debbie said that it's her home too. She isn't leaving. She wants to spend New Year's with Sid and her kids. The only reason she left before is because Sid threatened her with a hammer. What'd I tell you? Just holding it. That's all she needed. And of course, him smashing her iPhone. Sid said that he did not threaten her with anything. If she does not immediately retract that statement, Sid will never talk to Debbie again. All their interactions will be through attorneys. If Debbie wants to know what the kids ate for breakfast, she'll have to get her lawyer to call Sid's lawyer to ask Sid. Debbie asked if Sid is recording this, and Sid said yes, and showed her his phone. She said, okay, Sid didn't threaten her with a hammer. Sid has never threatened Debbie physically, but really scared her when Sid destroyed her phone. Sid said, just so we're clear about this, he has never threatened Debbie with things in any way, shape, or form, or harmed Debbie ever. Debbie nodded and said Sid has had to say that. Debbie said Sid is correct. He has never threatened or harmed her, but Sid scared her when he smashed her phone. Sid said now Debbie knows how angry he is and how determined he is to divorce her, and knows she can't spend New Year's Eve with them. Debbie asked if she could come in so they could talk. Sid said no. Debbie said it's her house too. She misses Sid and the kids. She wants to be with them. Sid said Debbie did not want to be with Sid and all the kids all those late nights and Saturdays that she spent with her lovers. She was never home Friday nights, busy picking up guys or effing her boyfriend. Yeah, she really wants to be with Sid and the kids. She proved that with her constant lying and cheating. Debbie was crying really bad now. Please let her come home and explain. Sid said there's nothing to explain. Debbie is in a competition with the other 3 wives to see how many guys each can hook up with. Go do that. Debbie has already banged Sid, so he's now just another DICK to talk about with the other wives. Yeah, she ain't talking about him with the other wives. Sid said that here's how it is. He's not letting Debbie back in the house without a court order. If she gets such an order, he will move out and Debbie and Sid will no longer have a relationship. There will be no interaction between them. Everything will go through the lawyers. It is amazing how Sid quickly turned on the man card here. If Debbie leaves instead, they will be able to continue to discuss the kids civilly without other intermediaries. There will be no problem with Debbie seeing the kids. Up to Debbie how she wants to interact with Sid. Cordially if Debbie leaves the house, very uncordial if Sid has to leave. There you go, he's laying out his terms. Also, Sid wants full custody of 3 kids. That's good for Debbie, because the kids won't get in the way of her SCX life. If Debbie can squeeze in a little time between hookups to see her kids, Sid doesn't have a problem with Debbie seeing the kids. Visits will need to be scheduled. Debbie should never show up at the house without Sid's permission in advance. But if Sid hears that Debbie has brought any of her lovers around his kids, Debbie will have to get a court order before she sees the kids again. Does Debbie understand? And this is where the waterworks resumes. Debbie said yes, she understands. Debbie said there will be no more lovers. She will live with Liv and Fran in their apartment or at her parents' until Sid is ready to take her back. Bad chance, honey. And I have such a hard time believing she's going to go along with this. Of course she's not going to go along with this. Apparently what she did was horrible, but when Sid is ready, she'll be waiting there for him. Well, she can be waiting like the guys waited for Godot because he ain't coming back. She doesn't want to be with anyone else. She realizes now how much she loves Sid. Sid said, too bad, her realization is years too late. Debbie asked what Sid planned on telling the kids. Sid said he's going to tell them that she's a cheating WHORE, should be walking the streets. Debbie started crying harder. Please don't tell them that, she said. Sid said, unlike Debbie, he wants to be honest with the kids. Debbie, sobbing, said again, please don't say that. James asked what Sid told his kids. Sid stopped the recording. The kids are 7, 5, and 4. Sid told their children that he and their mother were separating, living apart until they're divorced. Their mother wanted a life that did not include her husband and her kids. She wasn't honest with her family. When she said she was working evenings and weekends, she wasn't. She was with other people instead of her family. So they're ending the marriage. That will take time. The kids will be living with him. Obviously, he didn't tell them the specifics of what Mommy was doing, but that's enough. Poor kids. Instead of turning the recording back on, Sid said he'll describe the rest of the conversation he had with Debbie. It will take less time to listen to the recording. Sid asked Debbie if they were even his kids. Debbie went pale and looked stunned. She said, of course they're your kids. She always used protection with the others. Always? Debbie paused but said always. Even with her long-term boyfriend, he asked. Debbie said she had an IUD, which she had removed only when she and Sid wanted to get pregnant. Newsflash, dipshit Debbie. Sid didn't get pregnant, you did. I want to hear this you guys get pregnant nonsense. So Sid asked, Debbie did not have SEX with her boyfriend or anyone else, but Sid when she was trying to get pregnant. Debbie turned even paler and said no, the kids were Sid's kids. She is positive about that. Sure. Sid said their youngest child was a surprise, not planned. Was it also a surprise to her boyfriend, or did she plan that with him? Debbie again repeated that all 3 kids were Sid's. She was very careful about that with the others. The guy Sid kept referring to as her boyfriend meant nothing more to Debbie than any of the others. He lasted longer because he was convenient and didn't care what else she did. They weren't interested in living together. She certainly did not want to have any children with him. Sid told her he was going to get a paternity test for each of the kids. Sid said Debbie looked like she was going to faint when he mentioned paternity tests. He has every right. But Debbie didn't say anything because she probably thought Sid was bluffing. Debbie said there's another problem Sid needs to know about. Debbie broke it off with the other guys. She'll never have any contact with them again. But Mr. BJ, the guy who took pictures of Debbie that Sid saw on her phone, won't leave her alone. After Debbie passed out, Mr. BJ went through her purse and found her work ID. He knows where Debbie lives and works. Unless she continues to see him, Mr. BJ is threatening to send the naughty pictures to her boss and co-workers. Isn't Mr. BJ did the same crap to one of the other gals? So obviously this is his way of doing things. And got his butt kicked. The CEO, Debbie's division chief, and the other employees are easy to find on the company website. Their email addresses are also on the company website. Not my problem, honey. Sid said, so what? It's not much of a threat. Everyone at her work knows that she's a SLUT. They're all effing her. What's the big deal? So they'll have naked pictures of her. They've all seen her naked anyway. In addition to passing Debbie around, they'll also have pictures of her to pass around. Debbie said if her boss sees the pictures, she'll fire her. Posing for those sorts of pictures would end her career. Sid told Debbie, yeah, she has a real problem. The good news, it's not Sid's problem. Is there anything else? Sid said he was busy. He wasted enough of his life with Debbie. Debbie said she'll leave, but she wants to talk about when she can see the kids again. Sid said he wants to see an attorney before scheduling her visits with the kids. Yeah, exactly. Call him on Tuesday and Wednesday night. He'll know what his attorney says by then about the visitation. She then told Sid that she'll have a new phone with her old number when she gets to work Tuesday. Great, I'll smash that one too. She'll have to pay for the phone Sid smashed. Sid told her that she should keep her old phone as a reminder of how Sid feels about her. Debbie left after that. That's funny. Sid saw our divorce attorney right after coming to the gym the next Tuesday. His divorce is also in the works. He told a lawyer to get him custody of the kids. They discussed what Sid can expect in the coming weeks and months. Unfortunately, Sid's divorce, like ours, will be a nightmare. This whole thing has been a nightmare for all you guys. I don't know how you guys even function at this point. And I know so much of this story, these stories, is highly questionable, but I'm doing it because it's entertaining. A lot of you guys want to know what's going on and trying to give the benefit of the doubt, even there's a lot of things that, you know. But anyhow, the guy is representing all 4 husbands. We should really ask for a group discount. 4 fucking people, yeah, definitely. When Sid was finished telling us about throwing Debbie out on Saturday and then again on Sunday, we had questions. I asked if he watched your channels and your videos about our wives. He said he did and read a lot of the comments. He thanked me for the idea of telling Debbie that we can go forward cordially if she leaves the house, or very uncordially if Sid had to leave. He said that from the videos, when I said the same thing to Fran to get out of the house, yeah, he was following your style. Also, he saw that Steve had to defend himself against Mr. BJ on provoked attack on Steve's porch. Sid also probably needed to do something about Mr. BJ. You would think after Mr. BJ got his butt kicked by Steve that he would have learned something, but clearly not. I asked if Debbie was fired, would Sid have to pay her alimony? That's what I'm thinking. Maybe you don't want to get her fired just yet. Sid said he asked the attorney about that, and the attorney told Sid that she was working when we separated. If she quits her job, we'll argue that she quit to get alimony. A judge might agree or not. If she's fired for cause, she should not be awarded alimony because she's no longer employed. Debbie created her own mess. But again, a judge might agree about alimony or not. So the best thing is for Debbie to keep working until at least the divorce was done. They should not take the chance that Mr. BJ would get Debbie fired. That's what I think. Steve says he has Mr. BJ's phone number. Steve forwarded the text Mr. BJ sent Jesse to his, Steve's phone. Mr. BJ's number is on those texts. Let's call Mr. BJ now. Steve took out his phone and called on speaker. Mr. BJ picked up. Steve identified himself. I'm sure that guy shit a brick. When I hear Steve's name, the story about Steve, because he's this big jack dude play football, I'm picturing Reacher. You know that show on Netflix or Amazon Prime, Jack Reacher? You know what I'm talking about? It's a great freaking show, season 2 now. That's what I'm picturing him. You don't want to mess with Reacher. What did Steve want now? Mr. BJ sounded like he was talking through his teeth, not moving his mouth. I guess that's how you sound when you have your jaw wired up. Steve told Mr. BJ that destroying all the pictures and no further contact also applied to Debbie. Mr. BJ should destroy any and all pictures he has of Debbie and never contact her again. Did Mr. BJ understand, or did Steve and Mr. BJ need to discuss in person why Mr. BJ should not blackmail women for sex? Mr. BJ said he understood. He'll destroy the pictures of Debbie and not contact her again. Steve said he's glad Mr. BJ's jaw is healing and he's able to talk so well. Steve told him to have a nice day and hung up the phone. Yeah, let your jaw heal up so I can come by and do something again. Sid thanked Steve. Sid said that he was glad there was a support group that he could join, but he didn't realize that the group offered that much support. Steve said happy to help. That's why we are here. Sid said he needed to get a paternity test for his kids. He knows from the videos that we got them for our kids. Can we tell him what to do? He did, and he said he'd have that done this week. We told him he needs to get an STD test. He said he already called his doctor and scheduled the STD for later that week. Man, after knowing what Sid now knows, every time I go to the bathroom, I'd be like, oh God. That ended our Tuesday support session. 4 husbands of 4 cheating wives. Do any wives not cheat? We can't seem to find one. The detective visited me again last Thursday night. This mother effer won't give up. The Ring doorbell app warned me that someone was at the front door. I saw it was a detective once again. I sent the kids to their rooms, pressed record on my phone, and answered the door. No badge this time. He asked me if I was recording, and I said yes. He asked if he could come in. Are you kidding me? I said no. He said I made a lot of problems for him. He understands why I turned him in. He acted like a complete ass. He was sorry. He's no longer seeing Fran. He understands now how toxic she is. He must have been delusional to think that he can make it work with Fran. We're both rid of her now. Too late, a-hole. You're the one that pulled all that BS and forced my hand and got you busted with internal affairs and all that. The detective continued that he is going to be fired. Oh, poor guy. Would I give him a break and withdraw my complaint? Fat chance, a-hole. Tell him he was just kidding. He wasn't serious about getting money from me. Something like that so he could keep his job. The detective went on that he's learned his lesson. He went off the deep end because of Fran. If I get him off the hook, I'll have a friend in the cops for life. Nope, not happening. And besides, you're no longer going to be a cop. I asked him if the IA people were cops, and he said yes. I asked if it's a felony to lie to the police. He said yes. So the detective wants me to lie to the cops, saying I lied to the cops about him. Admit I lied. Admit to a felony. He didn't say anything. I told him people like him, people who abuse their authority, should not be cops. If I ever see him again, I'm going to send the recording I'm making now with him and asking me to perjure myself to IA. He's lucky he's just losing his job and not going to jail or getting sued. Don't bother me again. I closed the door in his face. Well, good for you, but I would have sent that to IA anyway. All of us could use a friend on the cops, but this guy will forget he's my friend in 2 minutes after he's reinstated. I'd be lying for someone who should not even be a rent-a-cop. If I told his hearing board that what I said about him wasn't true, this a-hole would probably end up suing me for defamation. Also, there's no way of explaining away the recording when he threatened me and tried to extort me. IA has that. Hopefully this guy is out of our lives forever. Flip a coin. One last thing before I finish this update, SSM. Fran's parents. Oh, Fran's idiotic father who's giving you shit. Doesn't want to believe what you're saying. I told Fran's father that his wife is still cheating on him. I knew that from Fran. After I told his wife infidelity is ongoing, Fran's father threw her mother out. The last I heard was that Fran's mother was living with her sister. That's covered in the prior videos. Is he hiring your lawyer too? Seriously, group rate. I asked Fran what was going on with her parents. Fran said that they were back together. Fran's mother promised her father that she finally broke it off with her longtime lover. Fran's father forgave her mother again. Smack to the father. I should have been doing more smacks in this video, but my shoulder's sore. They're in marriage counseling. Yeah, good luck on that working. I asked Fran if the counselor is working with her father on all the horrible things she did that drove her poor mother into the arms of her lover. Fran said probably that's what marriage counselors do. Yeah, they're going to side with the woman. I asked Fran if her mother really did end it with her boyfriend. Fran asked if I was going to call her father again and tell him. Fran realized that she just answered my question. Fran laughed and asked if I was seriously asking that. What did I think? Fran's mother was back home in time for Christmas. Less than a week later, she told Fran's father her sister was sick and she was going to go care for her. An excuse so she could spend New Year's with her lover. See? Once a cheater, always a cheater, and the man displaying weakness consistently of taking her back shows her there's no consequences. She's always going to keep doing what she's been doing. He's an idiot. And Fran's father believed that. Fran asked what her father was going to do. He's already taken Fran's mother back after finding out she cheated on him continuously for years. Fran's father put his blinders back on and won't notice his wife's infidelity unless someone like me confronts him about it. Fran's mother is not giving up her boyfriend because her husband might find out and get upset. Fran's mother knows her new husband will always take her back. There you go. Fran's mother and her boyfriend went to a New Year's Eve party and then spent the night together. So that is the end of part 9 and the update in this whole saga with the new guy, Sid, and Debbie, a part of their girl group, and it just goes to show this goes on and on. But anyhow, guys, I know that there is many of you that enjoy hearing the story and everything, so something tells me there'll be a part 10, 11, and 12, and those of you guys want to hear it, I'll definitely do it. Just let me know in the comment section here. But anyhow, quite the entertaining story, and to all the guys that are going through all this BS, if this is true, no offense, but one has to wonder, given a lot of things here. I really do wish you the best, and take it one day at a time, and I really hope everything works out for you, you know? Alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below, let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.